Dr. Maya Singh rubbed her tired eyes and looked at the computer screen again. The numbers were still there, glowing bright against the dark background. For 3 weeks, she had been picking up strange signals from deep beneath the Antarctic ice. At first, she thought her equipment was broken, but the readings kept coming back the same way every time. The research station felt empty tonight. Most of her team had gone back to base camp for supplies, leaving Maya alone with her thoughts and the humming machines. Outside, the wind howled like a wild animal, shaking the metal walls of their small shelter. She pulled her thick jacket tighter and took another sip of cold coffee. The signal was getting stronger. Whatever was down there, buried under 2 miles of solid ice, was sending out energy waves unlike anything she had ever seen. Maya had studied strange life forms her whole career, but this was different. This felt alive. She grabbed her radio and tried to call her team leader, but static filled the air. The storm was getting worse, cutting off their connection to the outside world. Maya was truly alone now, with only the mysterious signals keeping her company. Unable to sleep, she decided to take one more look at the data. The energy patterns were beautiful in a strange way, like music written in numbers and light. As she watched, the signals suddenly got much stronger. Her instrument started beeping frantically, red lights flashing all over the control panel. Something was happening down there. Maya quickly put on her warmest gear and stepped outside into the freezing night. The wind hit her like a wall of ice, but she pushed forward toward the drilling site. Her flashlight beam danced across the white ground as she walked, illuminating the massive drill that had been working for weeks to reach the source of the signals. When she reached the drill site, Maya gasped. The ice around the deep hole was glowing with a soft blue light. Steam rose from the opening, even though the temperature was 40 degrees below zero. The energy readings on her portable scanner were going crazy. She called down into the hole, her voice echoing in the darkness. No answer came back, but the glow got brighter. Maya knew she should wait for her team, but curiosity won over caution. She clipped her safety rope to the anchor point and began to lower herself into the glowing hole. The walls of ice changed as she went deeper. Strange patterns appeared in the frozen water, like someone had painted designs with light itself. The air got warmer as she descended, which made no sense at all. By the time she reached the bottom, Maya could barely believe what she was seeing. There, embedded in the ancient ice, was something that definitely didn't belong on Earth. It looked like a giant crystal egg, about the size of a small car, pulsing with that beautiful blue light inside the transparent crystal. Maya could see the shape of a person, but as she got closer, she realized it wasn't quite human. The figure inside was tall and graceful, with skin that seemed to glow from within. Long, flowing hair moved gently as if floating in water, even though it was frozen solid. The face was peaceful, almost smiling, as if the person inside was having pleasant dreams. Maya pulled out her camera to document the discovery, but her hands were shaking too much to take clear pictures. This was the find of a lifetime. This was proof that life existed beyond Earth. This was going to change everything. Without thinking, she reached out and touched the crystal surface. The moment her glove made contact, everything changed. The crystal grew warm under her touch, and the blue light became brilliant white. Maya tried to pull her hand away, but she felt stuck, as if the crystal was holding onto her. Then the person inside opened their eyes. Maya stumbled backward as the crystal began to crack. Steam poured out of the gaps, filling the small chamber with warm, humid air that smelled like flowers and rain. The cracks spread quickly across the entire surface until the crystal shell fell away. In hundreds of glittering pieces, the being inside sat up slowly, water dripping from their silver hair. They looked directly at Maya with eyes the color of starlight, and when they spoke, Maya could understand every word, even though they weren't speaking any Earth language. "Thank you for waking me," the being said, their voice like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "I have traveled so far to find someone like you." Maya's scientific mind tried to process what was happening, but her heart was racing too fast to think clearly. "Who? What are you?" She managed to ask. The being stood gracefully, and Maya noticed they were wearing clothes that seemed to be made of liquid silver. My name is Luna, and I come from a world beyond your furthest stars. My people sent me to find yours because we desperately need help. Before Maya could ask more questions, Luna grabbed her arm gently. But we must leave this place quickly. My awakening will have sent signals across space. Others will come looking, and not all of them wish us well. As if her words were prophetic, Maya's radio crackled to life. Through the static, she heard urgent voices talking about unusual energy readings and incoming aircraft. The military was coming. Luna's starlight eyes filled with worry. They cannot find me here. My mission is too important. She looked directly at Maya. Will you help me? Maya thought about her career, her research, her normal life. Then she looked at this amazing being from another world, alone and scared despite her otherworldly beauty. The choice was easier than she expected. Yes, Maya said simply. Luna smiled, and in that moment, Maya felt something change inside her mind. It was like a door opening, letting in light she had never seen before. Suddenly, she could sense Luna's emotions, her desperation, her hope, and something else. Gratitude so deep it brought tears to Maya's eyes. We are connected now, Luna whispered as the sound of helicopters grew louder overhead. We must go where we cannot be followed, hand in hand. They climbed out of a glowing hole just as the first military vehicles appeared on the horizon. Maya grabbed her emergency supplies while Luna looked up at the approaching aircraft. With an expression Maya couldn't quite read. Are you ready? Luna asked, her voice barely audible over the increasing noise of engines and rotor blades. Maya looked back at her research station, her normal life, everything she had known. Then she looked at Luna, this incredible being who had chosen to trust her with secrets that could change the world. I'm ready, Maya said, together. They ran into the Antarctic night, leaving behind everything Maya had ever known for an adventure that would test everything she believed about life, love, and what it meant to be human. The snowmobile roared across the endless white landscape, its headlight cutting through the darkness like a sword. Maya gripped the handlebars tightly, her knuckles white inside her thick gloves. Behind her, Luna held on with surprising strength, her silver hair streaming in the freezing wind dot above them. The sound of helicopter blades grew louder and louder. Maya could see the bright searchlights sweeping back and forth across the snow, looking for them like giant eyes in the sky. Her heart pounded so hard, she thought it might burst out of her chest. There's an old research station about 10 miles north. Maya shouted over the engine noise. We can hide there until they give up looking. Luna pressed closer against Maya's. Back even through their thick winter clothes, Maya could feel warmth radiating from Luna's body. It was comforting and strange at the same time, like sitting next to a gentle fire on a cold night. They will not give up, Luna said, her voice somehow clear despite the wind and noise. My people have been hunted across many worlds. Those who fear us never stop looking. Maya felt a chill that had nothing to do with the Antarctic cold. What do you mean, hunted? Before Luna could answer, a bright light suddenly illuminated them from above. One of the helicopters had found them. Maya heard shouting voices and the whine of engines getting closer. Hold on tight, Maya yelled, and turned the snowmobile sharply to the left. They raced toward a series of ice ridges that rose from the flat ground like frozen waves. If they could reach the rocky area beyond, the helicopters might not be able to follow. As they weaved between the ice formations, Maya began to see things that weren't really there. Flashes of images appeared in her mind like photographs being shuffled quickly. She saw purple skies filled with floating cities. She watched tall, graceful beings with glowing skin walking through gardens of crystal trees. She felt overwhelming sadness as these beautiful places crumbled and died. What's happening to me? Maya gasped, nearly losing control of the snowmobile. The connection between us is growing stronger, Luna explained, her voice now speaking directly inside Maya's mind. You are seeing memories of my world, my home. Maya saw more images. A dying planet where the air itself was poison. Underground cities where Luna's people huddled together. their numbers growing smaller each day, and then she saw the desperate plan, sending 12 young volunteers across the galaxy to find other worlds, other species that might help save them. You're not just a visitor, Maya realized, understanding flooding through her like warm water. You're a refugee. My world is dying, Luna said sadly. A plague from deep space killed our ability to have children. In 50 years, my people will be gone forever unless we find help. Maya felt Luna's loneliness and fear as if they were her own emotions. The weight of responsibility this young being carried was enormous. She was one of only 12 hope carriers for an entire civilization. They reached the old research station just as fuel ran low in their snowmobile. The small building looked abandoned and half buried in snow, but it would have to do. Maya kicked in the frozen door, and they stumbled inside, breathing heavily from their escape. The station was dark and cold, but it had thick walls that would hide them from the searching aircraft. Maya found some old emergency supplies, canned food, water, and most importantly, a small heater that still worked. Soon they had a tiny bit of warmth and light in their hiding place. As they sat close together, sharing the heat, Maya studied Luna's face in the dim glow. She was beautiful in a way that seemed almost like a dream. But there was real sadness in those starlight eyes. How does it work? Maya asked quietly. This connection between us? Luna looked down at her hands, which still had that soft silver glow. My people can form bonds with other intelligent species. It's how we've survived for thousands of years. When disasters struck our world before. But the bonding must be willing. On both sides. It cannot be forced. Maya felt something flutter in her chest. Like butterflies made of light. What kind of bond? A sharing of life itself, Luna explained. Hearts that beat together. Minds that understand each other completely, and she paused, her cheeks turning a pale gold color. The possibility of creating new life that combines the best of both our peoples. Maya's scientific mind raced with questions, but her heart was asking different things. She found herself drawn to Luna in ways she had never experienced before. It wasn't just Luna's otherworldly beauty, it was the gentleness in her touch, the sadness in her voice, the incredible courage it must have taken to travel across the universe alone. Outside, the helicopters still circled, their searchlights sweeping across the landscape. Radio chatter filled the air as more vehicles arrived. Maya listened to the conversations on her emergency radio. Colonel Webb has arrived. One voice reported. He wants the alien captured alive for study. What if it won't cooperate? Another voice asked. The colonel says use whatever force necessary. This could be the most important discovery in human history. Maya turned off the radio, her stomach churning. These people didn't see Luna as a person in need of help. They saw her as something to be studied, tested, maybe even taken apart to see how she worked. They want to hurt you, Maya whispered. Luna nodded sadly. Fear makes people do terrible things, even when someone comes in peace, seeking help. They see only danger. Maya looked out through a crack in the boarded window. The military vehicles had formed a wide circle around the area, slowly closing in. Soon they would search every building, every hiding place. Luna, Maya said, turning back to her strange new companion. This bond you talked about, if I agreed to it, would that help you? Would that help save your people? Luna's eyes widened with surprise. Maya, you don't understand what you're asking. The bonding process changes both people forever. You would no longer be fully human, and I would no longer be fully Zerati. We would become something new together. Maya thought about her old life, her research, her apartment back in the city, her normal human existence. Then she looked at Luna, alone and scared, carrying the hope of an entire dying world on her shoulders. Would it hurt? Maya asked. No, Luna said softly. It's said to be the most beautiful experience in the universe. But Maya, once it's done, there's no going back. We would be connected forever, in this life and whatever comes after. The sound of boots crunching in snow grew closer outside. Voices shouted commands as the search teams moved from building to building. They had maybe an hour before being discovered. Maya reached out and took Luna's glowing hands in her own. The moment their skin touched, she felt that strange warmth again. But stronger now, it was like touching starlight made solid. I've spent my whole life studying life in the universe, Maya said quietly. I never thought I'd actually meet it, and I definitely never thought it would need my help. Luna's eyes filled with tears that sparkled like liquid diamonds. You would do this for me? For people you've never met on a world you've never seen. Maya smiled, surprised by how certain she felt. I've been alone most of my life, Luna. Always buried in my work. Always searching for something I could never quite name. Maybe this is what I was looking for all along. The footsteps outside were getting very close now. Soon they would have to make a choice, run again and keep hiding, or trust in something neither of them fully understood. Luna squeezed Maya's hands gently. If we do this, we do it together. No matter what happens, we face it as one. Maya nodded, her heart racing with fear and excitement and something else she couldn't quite name. Outside, a flashlight beam swept across their window. Time was running out, and their greatest adventure was just beginning. Just when Maya thought they would be captured for sure, a miracle happened. The wall behind them suddenly slid open, revealing a hidden passage Maya had never seen before. A familiar voice called out from the darkness, Maya, Luna, this way, quickly, Doctor. Elena Rodriguez stepped into the light, wearing winter gear and carrying what looked like advanced technology Maya had never seen before. Elena had been Maya's teacher years ago, but she had disappeared from the university suddenly, leaving everyone wondering what happened to her. Elena, Maya gasped. How did you find us? How did you even know about Luna? Explanations later. Elena said urgently, right now we need to move. My people have been tracking the military communications. Colonel Webb has orders to capture Luna alive, but if that's not possible. She didn't finish the sentence, but her meaning was clear. They followed Elena through the hidden passage, which led to an underground tunnel system Maya never knew existed. As they walked, Elena explained that she worked for an organization called the Confluence, a secret group of scientists from around the world who had been preparing for first contact with alien species for decades. We've been watching for signs, Elena said as they hurried through the tunnels, energy signatures, unusual phenomena, anything that might indicate we're not alone in the universe. When Luna's pod was detected 3 weeks ago, we knew this day would come. The tunnel led to what looked like a normal supply shed. But when Eleanor pressed her hand to a hidden scanner, the floor opened up to reveal an elevator. They descended deep underground, much deeper than Maya thought was possible in this frozen wasteland. When the elevator doors opened, Maya couldn't believe her eyes. They stepped into a vast underground complex that looked like something from a science fiction movie. The walls glowed with soft light, and the air was warm and comfortable. People in white coats walked purposefully through wide corridors, carrying equipment and talking in hushed, excited voices. Welcome to Sanctuary Alpha, Elena said proudly. One of 12 hidden facilities around the world where we study and protect visitors from other worlds. Maya stopped walking. Other worlds? You mean Luna isn't the first? Elena smiled mysteriously and led them to a large observation window. Beyond the glass, Maya saw something that made her head spin. In a beautiful garden area with plants she had never seen before, several people were walking together, but they weren't all human. One couple caught her attention immediately. A tall, thin man with kind eyes was holding hands with a being made of what looked like living crystal. The crystal person caught the light and threw rainbows across the garden like a walking prism. That's David, Elena explained. He was a geologist in Nevada when he found Kira 3 years ago. She's from a world in the Andromeda galaxy. Her people are made of living mineral, and they live for thousands of years. Maya watched as David laughed at something Kira said, her crystalline face somehow managing to show emotion and joy. They looked at each other the way Maya found herself looking at Luna, with wonder and growing affection. And over there, Elena continued, pointing to another area, are the Yamamoto twins, Yuki and Hana. They saved a being from Europa, Jupiter's moon, when his ship crashed in the Pacific. Kai is amphibious, equally comfortable in water or air. Maya saw the three of them sitting by a pool. The two human sisters talking animatedly while a blue-green being with large, gentle eyes listened with obvious affection. They all seemed like a family. How many? Maya asked quietly. 17 successful partnerships so far, Elena said. Each one unique, each one proof that love and understanding can cross any boundary, even the space between stars. Luna had been quiet during this tour, but now she spoke up. These bonds, they all chose willingly? Every single one, Elena confirmed. We learned long ago that connections like this can't be forced. They happen naturally, between souls that recognize something special in each other. They were given a comfortable room in the residential section of the facility. It had two beds, a small sitting area, and best of all, a window that showed the garden where the other couples lived. Maya felt some of the tension leave her shoulders. For the first time in days, "You're safe here," Elena assured them. "The military doesn't know about our facilities. As far as they're concerned, you both just vanished into the Antarctic wilderness." Over the next few days, Maya learned incredible things about the universe and Earth's place in it. The Confluence had been in secret contact with several galactic councils, organizations of peaceful species, who worked together to help each other survive various disasters. Earth was chosen as a refuge world. Elena explained as they sat in the facility's library. "We have the right atmosphere for many species, and humans have shown they can form these special bonds with other forms of life." Luna spent hours talking with the other alien visitors, sharing stories of their home worlds and the disasters that had forced them to seek help among the stars. Maya was amazed to learn that cosmic plagues, dying suns, and environmental disasters were common throughout the galaxy. Many civilizations faced the same choice: adapt and find new ways to survive, or fade away forever. "My people aren't the only ones facing extinction," Luna told Maya one evening as they walked through the garden together. "Kira's world is slowly freezing as their sun cools. Kai's people lost their homeworld to volcanic activity. We're all refugees in our own way." Maya found herself drawn deeper into Luna's world and pain. Through their growing mental connection, she experienced Luna's memories more vividly. She felt the desperation of a dying planet, the courage it took to volunteer for a one-way trip across the galaxy, and the terrible loneliness of being the only hope for billions of people. But she also felt Luna's growing feelings for her. The alien woman was falling in love, not just with Maya as a person, but with her kindness, her willingness to help, her scientific curiosity that matched Luna's own desire to learn and explore. "Maya," Luna said one night as they sat by the pool watching Kai swim graceful laps underwater, "I need to tell you something important about the bonding process." Maya turned to face her, noticing how Luna's skin had a nervous golden glow. "What is it?" "It's not just about saving my people," Luna said carefully. "The bond changes both partners in wonderful ways. You would gain some of our abilities: enhanced intuition, the ability to sense energy patterns, resistance to disease, and a much longer lifespan." Maya's eyes widened. "How much longer?" "Kira has been with David for 3 years, but she's actually over 2,000 years old. The bonding process extends human life to match their partner's natural span." Luna looked down at her hands. "I know it's a lot to ask. You would be giving up a normal human lifetime." Maya thought about this revelation. Living for hundreds, maybe thousands of years, seeing the universe change and grow. It was terrifying and exciting at the same time. But their peaceful time at Sanctuary Alpha was about to end. Eleanor burst into their room one morning with urgent news. "We have a problem," she said, her face pale with worry. "One of our people was captured during a supply run, under interrogation." He revealed the location of 3 facilities, including this one. Maya felt her heart sink. "How long do we have, Colonel?" "Webb is already mobilizing his forces. Maybe 6 hours before they breach our defenses." Elena looked directly at Luna. "We can evacuate you to Sanctuary Beta, but there's no guarantee they won't find that location too." Luna stood up, her silver hair seeming to float around her shoulders with inner energy. "No more running. If we're going to make our stand, We make it together. Maya reached for Luna's hand, feeling the familiar warmth and the growing sense of connection between them. What do you mean? The bonding process makes both partners stronger, Luna explained. If we complete it, we'll have abilities neither of us possesses alone. We could protect this place. Protect all the people here who just want to live in peace. Elena looked worried. Luna, the process has never been attempted under combat conditions. The stress could kill us both, Luna finished. I know. But Maya, if we don't try, Colonel Webb will capture everyone here. All these beautiful partnerships, all these examples of what's possible between species, gone forever. Maya looked around at the garden, at the couples who had found love across the vast emptiness of space, at Elena and all the scientists who had dedicated their lives to proving that cooperation was better than conquest. When do we start? Maya asked. Luna smiled, her whole body glowing brighter than Maya had ever seen. Now, before fear can change our minds. As alarms began to sound in the distance and the facility prepared for siege, Maya and Luna walked hand in hand toward the ceremony chamber, ready to bet everything on the power of love to overcome any obstacle the universe could throw at them. The ceremony chamber was unlike anything Maya had ever seen. Ancient symbols carved into stone walls glowed with soft blue light, while crystals hung from the ceiling like frozen stars. The air itself seemed to hum with energy, making Maya's skin tingle with anticipation and fear. Elena worked frantically at the control panels, trying to strengthen the facility's defenses while preparing the bonding chamber. The ritual requires perfect calm and concentration, she explained, her hands flying over the buttons. But with the military approaching, I don't know if we can create the right conditions. Through the walls, they could hear the distant rumble of vehicles and aircraft. Colonel Webb's forces were closing in fast, and everyone in the facility was preparing for the worst. The other couples had gathered in the main hall, ready to defend their home if necessary. Luna stood in the center of the chamber, her silver hair flowing as if moved by invisible wind. The stress was making her alien features more pronounced. Her skin glowed brighter, and her eyes had taken on an otherworldly depth that was both beautiful and frightening. Maya, Luna said softly, are you sure about this? Once we begin, there's no stopping the process, even if the soldiers break. And even if the building falls down around us, we'll have to see it through to the end. Maya looked at her hands, which were shaking slightly. She thought about her old life, her apartment full of books and research papers, her quiet evenings alone with her work. That life seemed so small now compared to what they were about to attempt. I'm scared, Maya admitted honestly, but I'm more scared of what happens if we don't try. The first explosion shook the facility, dust falling from the ceiling. Elena's voice crackled over the intercom system. They're using some kind of drilling device on the main entrance. We've got maybe 30 minutes before they break through. Luna reached out her hand to Maya. Then we start now. The moment their fingers touched, the chamber filled with brilliant light. Maya felt as if she was being lifted off the ground, though her feet remained planted on the stone floor. Energy flowed between them like liquid starlight, warm and comforting despite its intensity. Don't fight it, Luna whispered, though Maya could hear her voice both out loud and inside her mind. Let yourself fall into the connection. Maya closed her eyes and did as Luna said. Immediately, she was flooded with memories that weren't her own. She saw Luna as a child on Xerion Prime, playing in gardens filled with singing flowers. She felt the warmth of 3 suns on her face and breathed air that tasted like cinnamon and dreams. But she also experienced the horror of the plague's arrival. The day the first children stopped being born. The slow realization that their entire species was dying out. The desperate search for a solution that led to the Seed Carrier program. I can feel your memories too, Luna said in wonder. Maya realized that Luna was experiencing her childhood on Earth. Snow days off from school. The excitement of looking through her first telescope. The loneliness of being the only kid who preferred books to people. Another explosion. Closer this time. The lights flickered, but the energy flowing between Maya and Luna grew stronger. Maya felt something fundamental changing inside her body. Her vision became sharper, able to see colors she had never noticed before. Her hearing picked up sounds from throughout the facility, conversations, footsteps, even heartbeats. They've broken through the first barrier, Elena's voice announced urgently. Security teams to level 1. Maya could sense the fear and determination of everyone in the facility. David was helping Kira to safety, his crystal partner moving in ways that bent light around them. The Yamamoto twins were working with Kai to flood the lower tunnels, using his amphibious abilities to control the water systems. But she could also sense something else, the cold, focused anger of Colonel Webb's forces as they pushed deeper into the sanctuary. They weren't just here to capture Luna anymore. They had orders to destroy everything they found. Maya, Luna gasped, her form beginning to shimmer like a mirage. Something's wrong. The bonding process, it's happening too fast. Maya felt it too. The connection between them was growing stronger by the second, but it was also becoming overwhelming. She could barely tell where her thoughts ended and Luna's began. Her human body wasn't designed for this kind of rapid transformation. We need to slow it down, Maya said, struggling to maintain her sense of self. I don't know how, Luna replied, panic creeping into her voice. The stress of the attack, the danger, it's accelerating everything. The third explosion was directly overhead. Chunks of concrete fell into the chamber, and Maya could hear soldiers shouting orders as they fought their way through the facilities. Defenses. Some of the ceiling crystals shattered, their light dimming. Eleanor burst into the chamber, her clothes torn and her face dirty from the battle above. They've captured David and Kira, she said breathlessly. We need to evacuate now. We can't stop, Maya said through gritted teeth. She could feel the bonding process pulling her forward like a powerful current. If we stop now, we'll both die. Eleanor looked at the energy swirling around the two women, understanding dawning in her eyes. The process has gone critical. You have to ride it out to the end, no matter what happens. More soldiers' voices echoed from the corridors above. Maya heard Colonel Webb himself giving orders. Find the main chamber. That's where they'll be hiding the primary specimen. Luna's form was becoming more transparent, as if she was fading between dimensions. Maya, I'm losing myself. I can't remember which memories are mine and which are yours. Maya reached deeper into their connection, trying to anchor them both. She focused on the strongest memories from both their lives. Luna's determination to save her people, Maya's lifelong curiosity about the universe, and the growing love they had discovered for each other. Hold onto me, Maya said firmly. Hold onto us. The chamber door burst open, and Colonel Webb himself strode in, followed by a team of heavily armed soldiers. He was a tall, stern man with cold eyes that showed no emotion as he looked at the two women surrounded by swirling energy. Fascinating, he said coldly. We're witnessing some kind of alien reproduction process. Record everything. Sir, one of the soldiers said nervously, the energy readings are off the charts. This could be dangerous. Webb ignored him, stepping closer to study Maya and Luna. To species attempting to merge their biological systems, the applications for human enhancement could be unlimited. Maya felt rage building inside her, not just her own anger, but Luna's fury at being treated like a laboratory specimen. The energy around them flared brighter, forcing the soldiers to shield their eyes. You don't understand what you're seeing, Maya said, her voice carrying harmonics that hadn't been there before. This isn't about enhancement or weapons. This is about survival and love. Webb laughed harshly. Love, you're being manipulated by an alien parasite that's writing your DNA. When we're done studying both of you, we'll know exactly how to replicate the process for military applications. That's when Luna spoke, but her voice came from everywhere at once, the walls, the crystals, the very air itself. You speak of things you cannot comprehend. The bond between Maya and myself is sacred, older than your civilization, deeper than your oceans. The energy in the chamber reached a crescendo. Maya felt herself expanding beyond her physical body, becoming something larger and more connected than she had ever imagined possible. She could sense every living thing in the facility, feel their hopes and fears as if they were her own. And in that moment of perfect clarity, she understood what needed to be done. "Luna," she said, her voice calm despite the chaos around them, "it's time, together." They let go of their individual selves and fell into the light, trusting completely in each other and in the ancient process that was transforming them both. The last thing Maya saw before the brilliance overwhelmed everything was Colonel Webb's face, twisted with surprise and something that might have been fear. The bonding was complete, but their greatest test was just beginning. When the blinding light finally faded, the chamber was completely silent. Colonel Webb and his soldiers stood frozen, staring at something they couldn't quite believe. Where Maya and Luna had been standing moments before, a single figure now hovered 3 feet above the ground, glowing with soft starlight. Maya opened her eyes and felt everything differently. She could see energy patterns flowing through the walls, hear conversations happening 3 floors above, and sense the emotions of every person in the building. But most amazing of all, she could feel Luna's presence not beside her, but within her, 2 souls sharing one transformed body. "Impossible," Webb whispered, raising his weapon with shaking hands. "What are you?" Maya floated gently to the ground, her feet touching the stone floor without making a sound. When she spoke, her voice carried the musical harmony of Luna's language, mixed with human warmth. "We are what happens when fear is replaced by love, Colonel. We are proof that different worlds can become one." The soldiers aimed their weapons, but Maya simply raised her hand. The guns turned to flower petals and drifted to the ground like colorful snow. She hadn't meant to do that. The power had simply flowed out of her naturally, guided by her desire to protect rather than harm. The bonding worked. Eleanor breathed in amazement. "You're both still there, aren't you?" "I can see Maya's expressions. But Luna's grace and how you move." Maya nodded, feeling the truth of it. She was still herself, but she was also Luna, and together they had become something entirely new. "We can feel each other's thoughts, share each other's memories, but we're still individuals. It's like being 2 instruments playing the same beautiful song." Colonel Webb backed toward the door, his face pale with shock. "This changes nothing. You're still an alien threat that needs to be contained and studied." But before he could reach the exit, the entire facility began to shake. Not from explosions this time, but from something much larger. Through the stone walls, Maya could sense massive objects moving through the atmosphere above them. "They're here," she said with wonder and joy. Luna's people, they felt the bonding complete itself. "They're coming." Eleanor ran to the communication console and activated the external cameras on the screens. They could all see 3 enormous ships descending through the clouds. The vessels were beautiful, shaped like crystal flowers with petals that caught and reflected sunlight in rainbow patterns. "Invasion fleet," Webb snarled, speaking rapidly into his radio. "All units, prepare for alien attack. I repeat, we are under invasion." Maya felt sadness wash over her as she listened to his words. "They're not here to invade, Colonel. They're refugees, just like Luna was. They're coming because they felt hope for the first time in generations. Hope that their people might survive after all." She could sense the minds aboard the ships. Tired, scared beings who had traveled across impossible distances carrying the last hope of their civilization. But she could also feel their joy and amazement at discovering the bonding had succeeded. "Elena," Maya said urgently, "can you contact the ships directly?" Elena nodded and switched the communication system to a broader frequency. Maya stepped up to the microphone, and when she spoke, her words went out in both English and the musical language of Luna's people. "Welcome to Earth," she said simply. "I am Maya, and I carry within me the spirit of Luna, your sea carrier. We invite you to land in peace and friendship." The response came immediately. In the same dual language Maya had used, "Maya who carries Luna, we greet you with joy. We are the last children of Zirian Prime, and we come seeking sanctuary and partnership, not conquest." Colonel Webb was screaming orders into his radio, calling for airstrikes and missile launches. But Maya could sense confusion among his forces. The alien ships weren't taking aggressive positions or powering weapons. Instead, they were simply hovering peacefully, waiting for permission to land. "Colonel," Maya said gently, "look at the ships. Really look at them. Do they look like weapons of war to you?" Despite his anger, Webb couldn't help but stare at the screens. The crystal ships were indeed beautiful rather than threatening, and their gentle movements spoke of beings who had come in peace. "It doesn't matter what they look like," he said stubbornly. "They're not human. They don't belong here." Maya felt Luna's memories stirring within her, memories of other worlds, where her people had tried to find sanctuary, only to be met with fear and violence. But she also felt her own human determination to prove that Earth could be different. "David, Kira," she called out, knowing they were somewhere in the facility. "Can you hear me?" Through the stone walls, she heard David's voice respond. "We're here, Maya. They've got us locked up on level 2, using abilities she didn't fully understand yet." Maya reached out with her mind and gently touched the electronic locks holding her friends. "Prisoner." The doors clicked open throughout the facility, freeing all the captured couples within minutes. David and his crystal partner Kira entered the chamber, followed by the Yamamoto twins and their amphibious friend Kai. Other human-alien couples Maya hadn't met before also appeared, a librarian from Tokyo with a being made of living light, a farmer from Iowa whose partner looked like a walking tree, and several others. "We stand with you," David said firmly, taking Kira's crystal hand in his human one. "All of us. Whatever happens next, we face it together." Colonel Webb looked around at the group of mixed couples, his expression shifting from anger to something closer to confusion. "You're all humans. You had normal lives. How can you choose them over your own species?" The farmer, a kind-faced man named Tom, stepped forward. "Colonel, my partner Sage helped me save my failing crops using knowledge from her world. We prevented a famine that would have hurt thousands of people. She didn't replace my humanity, she made it stronger." Yuki, one of the twins, nodded. "Kai's people understand ocean currents and weather patterns better than our best scientists. He's been helping us predict and prepare for storms that would have destroyed coastal towns." One by one, each couple shared their story. Every partnership had resulted in knowledge and abilities that helped both species, proving that cooperation was more powerful than conquest. Maya felt tears of joy running down her cheeks as she listened. This is what Luna's people hoped for when they send out their sea carriers. Not invasion or replacement, but partnership. Each bonded couple becomes a bridge between worlds, sharing the best of both civilizations. Through the facility's communication system, voices from around the world began checking in. Elena had contacted the other sanctuary sites, and similar scenes were playing out everywhere. More alien ships were arriving, not just Luna's people, but representatives from dozens of worlds, all seeking the same thing, a chance to live in peace and share their knowledge with humanity. "The choice is yours, Colonel," Maya said, extending her hand to Webb. "You can keep fighting something beautiful and inevitable, or you can help us build a future where Earth becomes a home for beings from across the galaxy." Webb stared at her outstretched hand for a long moment. Maya could sense the conflict within him, his military training warring with his growing understanding that these beings truly came in peace. Finally, slowly, he lowered his weapon. What would this partnership look like?" Elena stepped forward with a tablet full of data. "We've been planning for this possibility for years. Designated areas for alien settlements, cultural exchange programs, scientific cooperation agreements. Earth is room for everyone, and the knowledge they bring could solve problems we've struggled with for centuries." As if responding to Webb's change of heart, the 3 crystal ships began to descend toward the surface. Maya could feel the excitement and hope of Luna's people as they prepared to set foot on their new home. "They'll need time to adjust," Maya explained. "Their biology is different from ours, their customs unfamiliar. But with patience and understanding, we can build something amazing together." Through the facility's windows, they watched the first ship land in the snowy landscape above. A ramp extended, and figures began to emerge, tall, graceful beings with Luna's silver skin and starlight eyes. They moved carefully, almost reverently, as they took their first steps on Earth. Web watched them through the cameras, and Maya saw something change in his expression. They look tired, scared. They've been traveling through space for over a year. Maya said softly, they left behind everything they knew, everyone who couldn't make the journey. These are the last survivors of an entire civilization, Colonel. They need our help. Webb nodded slowly, and Maya felt hope bloom in her chest. I'll need to report to my superiors, but I'll recommend that we approach this as a refugee situation rather than an invasion. As the sun began to rise over the Antarctic landscape, painting the ice fields gold and pink, Maya stood surrounded by friends from two worlds. She could feel Luna's joy and gratitude flowing through their shared consciousness, and her own excitement about the future they would build together. Luna, she whispered, speaking to the presence within her, we did it. Your people are safe. Our people, Luna's voice replied in her mind, human and Zerati together. This is just the beginning, Maya. Soon, Earth will be known throughout the galaxy as the world where differences become strengths, where beings from any world can find acceptance and love.